Closer, and welcome back to the Patreon. Jack just burped on the intro, which is pretty.
Sorry. Can't edit that out.
Yeah, we refuse to do any editing for these, as you know, because it's fucking hard work. Like,
this is me, warts and all, burps and all. Okay, you gotta get used to it.
We have got a couple of episodes we are due to do, like Mabinogions for people. Oh God, I wish we stopped getting so drunk and we remembered what we said about if we were going to continue doing Mabinogion episodes. Because
yes, we did because we put out that survey, didn't we, to say like, oh, do you want us to do Mabinogions or do you want us to do something else? We came up with a few other ideas. We did have the majority say they want to keep the Mabinogions, so I'm happy to follow the will of the people.
Fair enough.
We're not bloody despots on this fucking pod.
But I'm pretty sure we still owe we owe people some other stuff soon, do we? For like coat of arms, or is that coming up? Have you got all that in hand?
People haven't. I've done one coat of arms, but people basically when we decided on the new tier stuff, like the new perks, we sent out another like a questionnaire almost type thing, like an email to be like, oh, what do you want to include in it? And lots of people haven't got back. So if you do want your coats of arms and you do want your
free
t-shirt and all that sort of stuff, get back. One person's got back about it, and that's basically it. So
okay, as long as you're on it. Thanks for covering all that.
That's all good.
This should be a message for offline, really.
I know. We should. If we were in a normal episode, this would be cat. but we're here now.
But
So.
we just want to do another Yap episode. I think it was quite fun doing the making our own Welsh film episode, and I've got notes for a horror one, so we thought we'd wheel that out as well. But before that, we thought we'd have a little chin wag around what we've been up to recently.
I love how we just we use the Patreon one as like we want to talk about movies as well as history, and we just force that into
they're
it.
Varied enough. We sometimes do stupid ones where we create something. Oh, do you know what we should do soon? The Choose Your Own Adventure again. I enjoyed that one.
I know, it's on to my to-do list. I've got so many on my to-do list. I just need to actually sit down and do them. I'm thinking I got loads of annual leave. I'm thinking of like taking like 2 days off in a week and just absolutely smashing out.
Oh, do you want to take some annual leave when I'm off on annual leave? On that week?
When you're off for your little week.
Yeah.
We'll we absolutely won't get any work done.
No, but do you want to take the 12th off? Instead of doing the 13th on Saturday, do you want to do the 12th? And we'll have a Friday all day when no one else is there in the pubs.
Shall we discuss Sam's Patreon?
yeah, sure thing, whatever. But we thought we'd just do a little chin wag for semi-cultural stuff again, because I saw
you want to
Eddington.
talk about, I know you saw Eddington, tell us about that, because I don't really know a lot about it. I think I watched one trailer, but I don't remember it.
That's the point. It's a guy who did Hereditary, Ari Aster, maybe I fucked his surname. Ari Aster, yeah. He did Hereditary, he did Midsommar. His films are often.
Beau is Afraid.
Beau is Afraid. Yeah,
I didn't see that.
It was like a 3-hour slog. It's quite a biggie, that one is. But he mostly does horror. But he's done this relatively blockbustery. Well, not blockbustery, but more mainstream. It has Emma Stone. It has Joaquin Phoenix. It has Pedro Pascal.
Cast,
yeah. But it didn't do any advertising, so and also the point is you don't really want to see too much. Like, you want to blank slate it and not go in with too much of awareness. But in doing so, it means people don't know what it's about. And also when you do find out what it's about, apparently Americans were really not keen. Like, it really didn't play well with American audiences because
I saw something about that. I did, again, not reading too much into it because I didn't want to spoil the film for myself. But it was like, wasn't there like a real divide with like who it thought it was depicting or something?
No, I'd say,
I don't know.
I'd say it just decimates both sides, which is perfect. Like, you shouldn't just like, especially for me, not left leaning, I'm left wing. I'm a fucking absolute, let everybody do whatever they want, be kind.
Die-hard fucking commie cack.
Commie bastard. Ironically though, because I will punch your lights. Like, commies are meant to be like, lefties meant to be quite nice, but I will punch you in your gob.
I think that's, it's a weird thing, isn't it, where you think, left, basically, I think it's because of the right and the way they portray lefties as like absolute pussies. Yeah. It's so funny to be like, we wouldn't stand for it. We'd absolutely wrap a pie glass around your head.
Exactly. Yeah. We're like incredibly aggressive left-wing people. And oh my God, there's a guy opposite my flat, third story up, and he just marches round his flat constantly. I'll try and film it. He's just walking around now. When me and Emma noticed him like years ago,
for Patreon,
we'll try and upload. But he just constantly walks around. It's like a nice apartment, they're really fancy, and he's got all the windows open, and he's just doing like,
what's the point in a nice flat if you're not going to walk around it, mate?
I had 10,000 men. When they were up, they were up. And did you show me that thing, that prank show where they made that guy do that for hours on end?
I think you showed me it. It's so funny. Was it King Wenceslas's men? Or whatever the fuck it was.
He had 10,000 men. And the guy just makes him do it on repeat for hours. We should probably find that link. It's a...
Finish about the man talking around, so, and we can sally back to that.
I've just got my camera on. He's completely fucked off now. Oh, hang on, he's back again.
Is your window open? Can you hear you? He's goddamn freak.
Well, because we can't edit, I'll just move on for now. But yeah, this film Eddington focuses on Black Lives Matter, COVID, and the emerging disparity between left and right wings in America.
Oh, nice. And a light touch film to watch on like a Sunday.
People, weirdly about cinema, people say, there's no new ideas. No one does anything new. It's just like rehashes or just fucking reboots. But when there is a new idea, no one goes to see it. It's like, well, if you want new ideas, go watch them.
I fucking hate it. It's so annoying. Like, I remember when, a couple of years back now, when The Last Duel came out, right? Ridley Scott film. Ridley Scott doing like medieval action. It wasn't all action, don't get me wrong. It's a fucking amazing film. It's so good. And no fucker went to go see it. And it just makes me think like, imagine like all the people out there, they've got these like brilliant ideas. And it's like, if Ridley Scott doing a medieval like film can't get bums on seats.
I am quite glad.
What the fuck?
Even though I didn't enjoy Weapons, I'm glad it's done really well because it's a new IP. But horror, like we've said before, horror always performs outstanding in cinema because horror fans want to watch horror in the cinema. Whereas if you watch like Marvel, not Marvel, but like, other stuff, you'll know it'll come to
big
streaming.
Blockbusters.
Whereas,
the thing is, the sort of the return on investment for horror has just always been amazing. You can do it for relatively cheap. You don't need a lot of bum on seats to even make it really profitable.
Well, that's the thing. You don't pay £100,000, like £100 million for an actor. You pay, 50 grand for an actor, and then they're relatively unknown, but they're good actors. So, like we watched recently, Bring Her Back, like amazing.
Honestly,
so good.
Anyone listening, if you like horror, if you like films in general, I'd say go watch Bring Her Back. It's one of the best films we've seen in ages. I was very, very impressed with that.
Ballad of Wallace Island, probably the best film I've seen in the last couple of years. Fantastic,
great film. There are different vibes. Don't watch them back to back. But actually, you might want to watch Bring Her Back and then watch Ballads of Wallace Island because that'll make you feel better.
But like A24, the studio who produced Eddington, are probably the best studio around at the moment. They always support innovative ideas. They did the big one they did was Civil War, which again it was Alex.
That was like their biggest funded one, wasn't it? Yeah.
And it was about if Texas and California separated from the rest of America, and then it led to a civil war. And
it was very well done. That really did stay away from like too much political commentary, didn't it?
Weirdly,
you don't know what's going on, what's caused it.
I mean, it's a film about politics, and they don't pin their colours to a mast. They let you, the audience, decide what's going on, and it's similar to in Eddington. I don't want to say too much because part of the joy is going in, but it feels like it's a South Park episode directed by the Safdie brothers, who do like that time, that film
Good Time and Uncut Gems. Yeah.
Uncut Gems, that fucking intense pace where you feel breathless and it's
very,
really
very
full on.
Good at that. Yeah.
But it also feels like it's set in a Coen Brothers world. It feels very Fargo. It's like it's following like a cop
semi-western almost like,
and it also covers like Native American stuff because like it's if you've seen The Curse, which is one of the best TV series I've seen in a long time. Like that's the Safdie brother and Nathan Fielder TV show. It's brilliant, but people
Sounds
on the left
like they're biting off a lot, mate.
And also it's a bit too long. It's about 2 hours 30. And the last half hour is mad, even though it's a big action last half hour. They could have trimmed it, but people didn't like it in America because it takes the piss out of super liberal left wing woke in quotations, but also takes the ripping piss out of conservatives who are going down rabbit holes, believing in all this fucking psycho, all these conspiracies.
A veritable bounty for the centrists.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly. You only go in there, and as someone who does like feel one certain way about stuff, like I wore a mask, even if a mask might not have helped. I'd rather be on the side where it goes, well, even if the science turns out not to be right. If it might have helped somebody, I'd rather do that than not do that. But then I only had to wear a mask when I was like going to the shops. If I had to work constantly in a mask, then I will probably be thinking, oh, actually, this is really uncomfortable. I don't like this. And the film does that perfectly, where it portrays every single side. And it does it in a very tiny town, but adds 1,000 different scenarios. So it adds a Black Lives Matter, it adds COVID, it adds conspiracies, it adds closed down business in this like insular tiny town to represent all of America and this big melting pot. And I know people have gone off Pedro Pascal because he's oversaturated, but he plays quite a smarmy, smug person, which kind of he does brilliantly because people kind of feel that about him at the moment. So he actually.
There's one thing I think about, like how he is everywhere at the moment, and even I'm sort of, I've got a bit of the Pedro Pascal like fatigue because he's in everything, but he just is undeniably fucking good. He's so talented.
Class, man. I actually don't. I don't dislike
fucking Pedro Pascal. Another thing. Yeah. Then I watch him and I go, fucking hell, he's good.
He is fantastic in this. It's got Joaquin Phoenix. He's always brilliant. But I did hear someone also say, well, Joaquin is always kind of Joaquin doing an impression of something, which is kind of true. But I would say it was a really interesting watch, and a lot of people said apparently some of it, the reason it's not amazing is because especially Americans, they don't want to relive that era. Like the UK was slightly different. We had, I think, on general, we had around 180 days in lockdown compared to around 30 to 50 days in America, because it differed on state. But we had such a more dramatic lockdown, and we were more complicit and happy to do so than Americans were. So, and also we didn't have the Black Lives Matter. I think it did show a bit of a
difference in like a national thing of. Well, it was like, all right, you could argue we were much more, do what you're told type
that's
thing.
Kind of,
but
we're not as skeptical about government as Americans
are.
I
think if someone, a scientist comes on national telly and says like this is the same thing
there's
to do,
more of a
we
civic
tend
duty,
to believe it, don't we?
For right or wrong, there's more of a civic duty in the UK, where it's like, well, this is for the we're being told to do it because there's a reason to, whereas in America it's like, why are you telling me to do this with the land of the free, all that. So there was, and also within like 2 months of lockdown, or within 2 months of like COVID, I think it was like 2 to 3, Floyd George got murdered, and then obviously the Black Lives Matter protest took over the entire summer. So in the UK, we were still having our lockdowns, whilst in America, they were having literal civil unrest. So it's a really raw subject, and it's so quick to do a film about that. It's like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's in the grand scheme of things, they usually wait quite a lot longer, don't they, to bring up so far.
Yeah. So it's a film that's done much better overseas than it has in America. But yeah, that's just my quick condensed.
I'll definitely give it a look. I wanted to give it a look because I saw like a bit of the controversy, and then as always, if you recommend something, I tend to watch it. To flip to a completely like you the way you're describing that film is like a very nuanced, like thoughtful thing about like setting with both sides. I watched a film.
Go on.
No, I was just saying I watched a completely different one called F1. It's about Formula One and racing cars. The other day.
I don't think you can drive that car fast. Watch me.
Just watch me. Yeah, that's literally what it is. But it's you know what? It was actually quite good. It was. I watched it after Amy had gone to bed. I was like, I'm going to stay and watch a flick, and I put it on because I don't give a flying fuck about F1. I think F1's quite boring. But It's directed by Joseph Kosinski, and he's done quite a few really good films. He did the most recent one he did is Top Gun Maverick, which I loved. Yeah. And he's done what else did he do now? I did look this up before this, but I'll
people love Top Gun Maverick for its action scenes, didn't they? And like
that's
the way it was shot.
It's the way it's filmed. It's okay. So we did Oblivion. Oblivion's a brilliant thing as well. Tron Legacy, that's a good one. Twisters. He's got pedigree. He's got. I quite enjoyed Twisters. It's very dumb,
silly, but
fun. Yeah, and you know what? I didn't realize that he did that because it's not quite the same. It's not quite up to this caliber. He's given a really good budget, and it's the way it's filmed. It's the same as Top Gun Maverick. Is you're really into it when the action scenes are happening because the way he can capture like dynamism and like the way that the movement of these cars and like the machinery and all that sort of stuff, it just sucks you in. For me, it did anyway. And like I said, at least with Top Gun Maverick, there was like he already had me a little bit like, fighter planes are cool. Aren't they? You know, they do some cool stuff. F1, I'm like, that's boring. That's just boring. I don't really like racing, whatever. But it was the way they did it was very, very good. And it's basically a lot of it is just Brad Pitt kind of looking handsome and sexy and doing stuff. And he's like an old grizzled veteran, you know what I mean? Who's dragged back into the sport because they need him, last ditch attempt. And there's also an up and comer. It's up and comer young'un. It's exactly the same as Top Gun Maverick in the story. They just replaced the planes with F1 cars. But it did grip me. It was very, very good. I enjoyed it. I watched it after Bring Her Back though. So it was never ever going to top that. And very different genres as well. But it was good. If you want just like a dumb kind of very low stakes, like it's more personal stakes. You know what I mean? Nothing's on the hook apart from like a very wealthy F1 team like losing this spot in the competition. That's what is at risk. There's nothing. But yeah, it's good. It doesn't sound as like sort of thought provoking as Eddington, but
I'm not a big action fan, so I'm aware sometimes my ones won't be as fucking entertaining. But that's the beauty of cinema. You can capture it all. But I actually have heard, like, similarly to you, it's a very enjoyable film and it's really well made. So people can enjoy that.
It is. There's technically speaking, it looks fantastic. The score's fantastic. Acting's fantastic, and I don't know anything more really about F1 apart from they strengthen their necks. You know, like you go to the gym and do arms exercise. They do like neck things.
Oh man,
like, gotta keep my head straight on the car.
That new UFC film with The Rock looks decent, which is an annoying thing to have to say.
Fancy going to watch that. Yeah,
that's A24 as well. But we've done a little bit of films we've seen recently. This is when we're going to discuss a film I'd like to make based around Welsh mythology or Wales in general. So we've discussed before how Wales is so primed for a folk cult horror film because of things like the Mabinogion, because of the landscape, because of the folk stories, because of our like mythological background. And I was thinking I'd love it. Well, I got two ideas and I'd see what you might think would be scarier. Because last time we did an action sequence. This one here would be action. This one here would be pure horror. And I was thinking you could go down the folk cult Mabinogion Wicker Man vibes. So you go to like an island and you're captured and you're sacrificed people being sacrificed in the name of like a god.
Well, you could do like Bellymaud was like the god of the sun back in like Celtic times. So you could like imagine like you
maybe them alive for them.
Similar to the Wicker Man, that the harvest has gone wrong or something like that. You know,
so you got to find
Bellymaud is the god of the sun. Yeah.
Or do you think this is scarier? You're captured by like terrifying brutalist thugs, like you know in like a Walking Dead, Negan and his gang. They're so scary because they are just cruel. Like I think there's a difference between doing something for your religion and thinking you're brainwashed, and that's why you're doing it, and that's less scary than people who are just
almost
cruel.
Like an end justifies the means. Something other than, or just someone who's so cruel, like psychopathic. Like I don't.
And not even psychopathic. It's just like you know when like Negan like but when he's like hammering people with his bat and stuff, and like the baying mob enjoy it. I thought you could maybe make it still historical, but they're like Viking thugs. So either it was modern day setting and they're biker gang who cycle around and like Ban Ebracheniog, where like there's a lot of them, and they're like neo-Nazis, and they like spot a couple who've car broken down in a remote road, and they like try and take the woman and the husband. Or do we switch it and be like, all right, no, they're Vikings and they've taken slaves to...
I love
like,
that second
like,
option.
them off,
that,
like the Viking one.
Like maybe early medieval period, peaceful Gwynedd, living on Ynys-Môn or something like that, or down in Swansea or something like that, and then Viking raiders come, absolutely slaughter the village,
and
it's like...
You know, that's like a really brutal scene in the...
Do you remember 30 Days of Night? Do you remember that film, vampire film?
Really like
I love
film.
that film. Take that scenario,
is that Josh
but instead
Hartnett?
Of take the vamp. Yeah, Josh Hartnett, absolute dishes man in Alaska. But imagine that. Take that exact sort of premise, but instead of the vampires, you got these Viking raiders, and it's a very hodgepodge group of guys that they're like, we're going to raid we're going to fucking slaughter this entire town, village, whatever. And it's them moving between like roundhouse to roundhouse type thing, trying to avoid them, like moving by night, and they're being hunted slowly and picked off.
That's the scariest thing of horror, is the feeling of vulnerability and feeling weak. So if there's like a terrifying, thuggish, like horde of Vikings, which you couldn't just overpower, you would have that. That's the sense of dread I want to kind of create.
Even better, up on Ynys-Môn, you make it during, like, I don't know, like a storm or something like that. The strait is too wild
you can't
to
go
cross.
Past it. Yeah,
so you've got to stay on the island.
Yeah,
and then there's these roaming. You got to try and go from.
And you could have it
avoiding these Vikings.
The husband trying to save his wife who's been captured, or they're both trying to move away, or there's like a bunch of them. You're trying to like get a whole village to get away from these Vikings. But I think it would fit it really well, because Vikings in horror haven't been massively exploited. I don't think there's been a terrifying Viking film.
Can only even I can already imagine like the shots you could do, dark like night, it's stormy or whatever, moonlit behind sort of thing, and you see the silhouette of the Vikings, as opposed to like you don't look at him as a man. It's more like this imposing figure covered in like fur and animal bones, and like fucking the helmet makes him look like a monster. And... like
the very start could be like how the Northman starts, where there's that one shot where they attack that village, and all the berserkers just fucking like slit throats, pull people apart, tear them apart,
just go
animalistic,
ham on people. And
I think that and then that's scary for the brutalism, but then the scarier part, I think, would be to have a leader who's just like, I don't want anything from these people other than to torture and kill them. Like, there's no reason.
I mean, it's just ransack the place.
And then so that's, I think,
and the less people who survive, and you could even put that as a line in, put it in Norse, ancient Norse or something, with subtitles, and it's like going, we kill everyone before the storm ends, so no one can report this to anyone else.
Like Thor's celebrating the murders, so like the more the storm goes on, the more violent they are, because they're like reflecting like
perfect. Yes, please, I'd watch that in a heartbeat.
And like, I was thinking that like maybe it's like a married couple who are taken from their house and dragged off, and it could be really good violence, so like action. But I do want it to be a horror. So like, do you know in Last Kingdom when he's a slave? That's one of the most like harrowing scenes, where he's like this great hero who then becomes broken.
He's just been worked with the bone.
And become broken. And you probably need an Irish person in there to be lighthearted and levity, because the Irish are always good at adding levity to it. But
that could be a good thing as well. Like, have one of the guys who's, like you said, the husband maybe, or whoever. He's like a returning hero. He's done his duty for Wales,
He's
and
fought off, like, Gorm, the Viking who tried to invade North Wales, and Rhodri Mawr beat him.
And he's hung up his sword now. He wants a simple life and everything. And it's like, and then it's suddenly he's descended upon by like an unstoppable force of Vikings.
They could have like set up establishment there, and he's escaped. So you see them like scenes where they're torturing people for their gods, so where they're like the Vikings have been as cruel as possible, and then they're also putting the people to the field, so the ones who've escaped can try and like save those who are in the field to join their cause.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
the what you call it, that, you know, I know I'm harkening back to 30 Days a Night as well. You know, there's like that one guy who turns up and he's like the prisoner that they've kept on that ship. And he's like all raggedy and he's like, I want a hamburger. I want a hamburger. And
I don't remember that film as well as you.
But basically you could send like this warrior maybe who's been captured. He's managed to, I don't know, jump off of one of their vessels. He's floated ashore. They take him. He finally wakes up and he is warning them that they're coming and all this. And you think he's crazy, and you know he's like terrified out of his mind, like a real warrior. And then that's when they sort of eventually descend, and he's like shitting himself the entire time. You know, really like foreshadowing.
That's where it gets in. Yeah. I want it to be scary though. So what do you think you could add to make it scary?
Right. Okay, I drink scary. Like I said, framing the Vikings as not men, but like
beasts,
monsters or
devils,
beasts. You know? Have them like hulking and like they're covered in. Make their armor almost like make it look like when you're against like silhouette. Make it look like they're just like these hunched over ogres of men. You know, like
what scares you in a horror? Because what scares me in a horror is uncomfortable shots. So you know, like in Signs, when the alien tropes past the window, and like it's so creepy when he like walks past with his slinky little arms. He looks directly at the camera. Yeah, it's so unnerving. Like I think
you could do like, you know, the our protagonists, if you like, are holed up in a house, and they're doing some sort of Viking ritual outside. You know, like in Northman, like you mentioned, where they used to do this as well. They take like these fly algaric mushrooms and go fucking nuts,
psycho,
to go berserker mode or whatever. You might, you wouldn't have to do maybe the berserker mode one, but maybe they're there and there's like all this thing and they're just about hiding, and then across the window you see some guy, he's high as fucking tits, but he's like raging, you know, and he's got like eyes are back in his head type thing, and he's like, I don't know, drooling, and he could be like, he looks like a zombie type thing, you know, because he's so fucking nuts. Something like that you could.
I also like it when they're in the background and the protagonist can't see them. So like in Strangers, where he's standing in the background and they're like scared, they're looking around, they don't see him, that he's just calmly looking at them. I think that's a really creepy element, when something's calm and considered and they're still like, I'm still going to fucking destroy you.
You could have like, I don't know, some sort of, I don't know what they're called in Viking culture now, but like, you know, seers. They like, maybe he's like blind, he's blind or something, and these guys are holding up in the forest. They think they're safe, and you see him like just in the distance, or like a flash of light, and you see him coming closer because he's going to the sound or something.
And he like points in that direction, and then the Vikings charge at them because he goes like that.
There's like a blood curdling scream or something to let them know.
But you've got to avoid the cringiness of like historical horror, where it's all like it's too kind of like myth. I don't know. Sometimes it's a bit cringe. It's like, no, I still want it to be horror and based in reality in terms of
you don't want it to be like, oh, there was actually the gods there. Like you want it to be. It's always better with the like violence of man, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's the scary part. It's the scary part. These people are deluded, and that's why it's scary. So I think that would be my suggestion for a Welsh horror. I know I've done both of these.
We'll watch it in a second, mate.
I'd like to hear what your action and horror would be, so we can do them on the next couple of episodes. But
that'll be my next one, mate. I think I might take a couple of days off and just smash out like 3 episodes.
Nice. Well, thanks as ever, guys. You are the backbone of this bloody podcast, and we literally couldn't do this without you. So, diolch yn fawr, guys. Appreciate it immensely.
Diolch pawb.
Ta-ra.